Greetings and welcome to another edition of Political Empire. I'm your host, Kim Pearsall with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. We're going to talk today about how the tug of war between the City of Ontario and the City of Los Angeles for control of Ontario Airport has now turned into capture the flag. And secondly, we're going to talk about how all politics is local. And so we're going to talk about two areas, regions in particular, first Moreno Valley and then the Pass. So first, capture the flag. The quest by the City of Ontario to regain control of Ontario Airport had been a tug of war. Now it's capture the flag. Ontario Councilman Alan Wapner said at the first meeting of his airport authority that all he thinks about lately is getting to take down Los Angeles's flag from outside one of the airport's terminals. And I saw it. The LA flag is outside, I think, Terminal 4, and the Ontario City flag is outside of Terminal 2. So maybe one of these days they'll get to take that flag down and replace it with another one. But now we're going to go to our correspondent, Laura Hines, who's here to tell us a little bit about what's going on in Moreno Valley. Now, a little bit of a preface, choosing who is going to be in City Hall is probably more important to most folks than, let's say, even the presidential race or the congressional race. These are people who are going to be affecting perhaps their daily lives. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with the campaign out in Moreno Valley, because there's been a little bit of consternation about some of the campaign signs and a particular slogan that's been on them.
Yes, it's she's one of us and he's still one of us.
Now, what does one of us mean?
Well, nobody would say it on the record for a very long time until, I guess it must have been the last city council meeting when a regular named Jose Chavez, and he's a Victoria Baca backer, came in and admitted that one of us means that she's one of Moreno Valley's Hispanic community. And the
Hispanic community is, what, about 65%?
That's what he said.
Okay.
He announced during the public comments of the meeting that Hispanics, Latinos hold 65% of the population of the city, and that he's encouraging them all to go out and vote.
Now, the other candidate to have this phrase on his campaign posters was Jesse Molina. It sounds like that may be changed.
It is on some of his signs. At first, when you drove around right after the candidates were certified for the ballot, that slogan was on all of his signs. And now it seems like it's been systematically taken down or replaced by something like, he's for all of us, or something like that. Although I did find a couple of them where it still says, he's still one of us.
Interesting. So in addition to the campaign signs, too, there's been speculation recently that the next city council meeting, so the study session as well as the meeting itself, both are canceled.
Right. The study session was last night. That was canceled. And then the meeting that was supposed to be next Tuesday, which would be the last regular meeting before the election, canceled as well. And so I contacted the city clerk and asked her if it was true and why. And she said, well, there was nothing scheduled for the agenda. And I asked her, well, by the council and the staff? And she said, yeah, both. And it's just very hard to believe, with Moreno Valley being the second largest city in the county, that there would be absolutely no business to discuss.
And so community members have speculated that because these two meetings were canceled, that the city is somehow stifling their political free speech to be able to go up during public comment and talk about who they want to vote for, et cetera?
Right, because during public comments, the last few meetings, people have gotten up and urged their fellow residents to go vote and who to vote for. And then there's been one city council candidate who has no money. He's been using the public comment period to advocate for himself and to campaign for himself.
Interesting. Well, and then on another note, because Moreno Valley is full of campaign stories, you have been keeping track of all of the campaign contributions that have been coming in, and you mentioned that you noticed something interesting, that there was a cranberry farmer and a gas station owner who were on the list of contributions.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the cranberry farmer and the gas station owner.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know very much about either one of them. They're listed as having addresses in Del Mar. And one of them is identified as a cranberry farmer. The other one's identified as a small gas station owner. And when I did a very brief check on either one of them, I didn't see those kinds of identifications coming up for either one of them. But they do seem to have some connections, let's just put it that way, that seem a little bit more more involved in how they describe themselves.
So maybe bigger than just a cranberry farmer and gas station owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Well, always interesting to talk about local politics and what's going on. Thank you, Laura, for telling us about Moreno Valley, and hopefully we'll come back with an update, and especially after the election when we find out the results of what's going on with a lot of these races. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the pass. Interestingly, a Beverly Hills resident as well as a Banning landowner has donated some $25,000 to challengers in the Banning City Council race. Lloyd Fields has given $15,000 to Don Peterson and $10,000 to Edward Miller, plus another $5,000 to a committee that's called, quote, Committee to Stop Corruption in Banning. There are 6 candidates running for 3 spots. Fields has accused the city before of being anti-business and anti-development. He sued and lost when he sought to have a guard shack removed from the Morongo tribal land because 41 acres of his land was behind it. And later, the city approved Morongo's proposal to rename Fields Road, which was named after Fields' father. And in the Banning City Council race, one of those 6 candidates running is Adam Stephen Buchanan, a 23-year-old who apparently was charged with drunk driving in Idaho and failed to appear in court in August. He had 2 DUI convictions before that, one in November 2011 and another in April. All of the charges are misdemeanors. He said that the earlier convictions came at a time when the National Guard had eliminated his job because of cost cutting, and bills were mounting. The second was during a particularly bad slump in his life. Buchanan moved back to Banning to continue his education, and he told the Press Enterprise he's not hiding from the law. And so you can read more about that story online at pe.com. Also in the past, 18-year-old Gunnar Hardy is wasting no time entering the political fray. He's running for Beaumont City Council. But according to a recent Facebook status update, the campaign may be the least challenging thing for him at the moment. Quote, life is so confusing sometimes. I may be a politician, but I am baffled by women's minds. An enigma, so to speak. So Gunnar, good luck with figuring out women's minds, and good luck to all of you who are looking at all of the candidates and all of the races and trying to decide who to vote for. Thank you for watching another edition of Political Empire. We will see you next, or tomorrow actually. So thanks so much.